all new. AM 1150 WTMP.com.
Alrighty. It's that time again, folks. Porch Talk Radio,
Live.
your favorite urban talk show, is on the air again with your host, Eddie Adams Jr., Gabriel Phillips, and our in-studio engineer, Tim Horton. So we're going to make this show a special show because we don't have a guest-driven show. So I have people, all the time ask me, do you have a guest? Do you have a guest? Do you have a guest? Every now and then we have guests, and every now and then.
They're all special.
And every now and then we have a great guest. And so our guest today, I will introduce him and tell you a couple things about him, and he can tell you some things about himself once we get the show started, But today, what we're going to talk about, is stuff that influences, everybody and affects everybody. And let me start out, before I start the show, let me tell you this. I'm also president of the Temple Terrace Republican Club. So, and we normally meet on Thursdays, but this week we met on Wednesday. And as I was doing some prep for the meeting and stuff, I was kind of, going through some things, and I saw that the last day to register to vote in the November 3rd election was Tuesday, okay? So many registrations was coming in that Governor DeSantis extended it a day. And I know a lot of you guys didn't know that. So they extended it a day, but it was so many folks registering, the system broke down. Yeah, right, the state of Florida voter registration system, given that the governor had given them an extra day, if you didn't register in the time you're supposed to register, it didn't count anyway because, again, it broke down. So he thought he was going to give them an extra day. But let me tell you something that's really big. Big, like Ed Sullivan used to say, big news. Big news is, in the state of Florida, Republicans, our side, has the governor's house, the governor's mansion. Mm-hmm. We got the Florida Senate. Almost have a supermajority. Don't quite yet, but will after the next election. And we have a majority in the House of Representatives in the state of Florida. That's with the Democrats outnumbering the Republicans, registered voters, over the last couple of years of almost 1 million votes. Now think of that.
Are those the dead ones or the live ones?
I mean, we got all we got the House, we got the governor's mansion, we got the Senate, and they have outnumbered us with registered voters. As of Wednesday, 2 days ago, in the state of Florida, the Democrats have 37% of the votes. The Republicans have 36% of the votes. Independents have 27%. And a good friend told me, and I've heard from a couple of sources, that over the next couple of months, preparing for 2022 election cycle, that for the first time in an incredibly long time, there will be more registered Republicans in the state of Florida than Democrats. Yeah.
I bet you every Democratic person might win now.
Well, clap, cheer.
Dominion
yeah,
system.
But now my fear is the fact that the registered voter number hasn't meant doodly squat over the last 20 years, I would say. Because it's been at least that long. I think the last Democratic governor for the state of Florida was Lawton Childs.
Okay.
So that's been at least about 20 years, if not more. So because we have more registered voters, the issue has always been not having more or less registered voters or the greater number. It's how you get your people to show up at the polls to vote. That's what's important. So I don't want you guys to get hot and heavy and think, the battle is won. No, the issues still come up every year. You still got to show up and you still got to vote. And them having 1 million more registered voters for us, but not having a House, not having a Senate, not having the governorship in over 20 years, that should show you and tell you, that the important part of this whole process is getting off your butt on election day, election week, election month, however long they give you to vote.
And voting for the Republicans.
And go vote. That's what's important. Okay. I had to get that off my chest. And so we can start the show. This is Porch Talk Radio. And we're going to do what we do, me and Gabriel and Tim and I guess here today.
Because we professionals.
Because if you want to call in during the show, it's a call-in show. So we look forward to taking your answers and your questions and
Maybe.
and every now and then your statements. For those who like to ramble. We have a no ramble policy. In effect, if your rambling takes more than 2 minutes, I will have the engineer slowly but surely turn you down. So you can hear yourself talk, but we won't hear you talk.
Yeah, I gotta move on.
Just to say and make sure everybody understand the rules of the game. That's why we give them to you at the beginning of the show. All right, if you want to call in during the show, the call-in number to here at WTMP Radio, 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. If you want to call me, Eddie Adams Jr., during the show, and I'm telling you now, I won't answer. Can't do a radio show and have a personal conversation with you when all you got to do is talk to me after the show. So just call me on my cell phone after the show. 813-12. If you want to email me, Eddie, EDDIE, at PorchTalkRadio.com. So it's all out there. And I gotta say one more thing before we get on with our guests and do our regular show. And I kind of started it last week, but we was talking about the Black Wall Street thing that's going on this weekend. So if you haven't, got down to 5508 50th Street, yet, try to make it down there today before 3:30, because I think most of the stuff will be over with, by that time. But if you can make it down there, it's a big deal. I saw on TV, if you guys remember, I did my 50th high school reunion in Lake Wales, Florida, a couple of weeks ago, and it was great, well attended, all that kind of good stuff. But I'm never too far away from, what's happening. And I saw some images on TV, and I kind of talked about this a little. Couldn't get into it a lot last week, but I mentioned it to you, and I'm mentioning it to you again this week. I saw a bunch of white folks on horseback whipping black folks trying to cross the river. Now those are Haitians. I mean, it ain't, it flashback, some of those slavery, images from back in the old days, and I'm gonna say now, this is Biden. This is President Joe Biden, who black folks literally put in office and have been supporting Democratic Party at a 80%, 90%, 99% rate, over the last 20 years. And even though Trump supposed to be the Antichrist, I never saw Trump having Border Patrol agents, FBI agents, whoever those people were on horseback whipping folks because they've been crossing the river. Because Mexicans have been crossing that river, probably since the
Creation of the river.
ever since the United States been a country. And as you can see, if you saw any of those images, and if you didn't see any of them, go back and look at them. They had people from one side, from the Mexican side, from the banks, in the river, all the way to the American side. Okay, so that means if them folks can find that spot and walk across the river.
With the rope guide I saw.
Yeah, okay, I didn't see that part.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Rope guide.
But walk across that river ain't got no higher or no lower. It's been like that for a long period of time.
It's like a baptism.
So what I'm trying to figure out is, if it's always been like that, and they are so hardened against the wall, Trump's wall. I'm saying, I'm relating to you guys at your own level, at the level. That was Trump's wall. Okay, but so far, the problem I see is those are Haitians. Those guys are 90 miles off our coast. Now, they went 2,000 miles from where their homeland is to Mexico to charter through Mexico to get to that place in Texas to cross.
I think they're just good swimmers, Eddie. That's all I can think, because how else would it happen? Just
A dolphin can't swim like that. But again, my point is, this is the Democratic president of all these black folks who've been railing for 4 years about how horrible Trump was, and they managed to have photographs, images, video of those folks. I mean, they may have been Haitian, but see, that's why I don't say Afro-American and all that kind of stuff. I say black.
There you go.
And to me, I couldn't tell whether them people were born in Ohio or Haiti. I couldn't tell. But the image I saw, it sure reminded me of what Alabama and Mississippi and places in Georgia looked like, 100 years ago.
Some George Wallace there.
I'm just saying, you couldn't find some, people hollering about kids in cages and stuff like that. I'm just saying your president, and I'm saying your Joe Biden,
racist president.
Creepy Joe.
Creepy Joe, that's right.
Creepy Joe, had national uniform, tax-paid American military type folks whipping black folks from horses. Now, if I didn't make that image in your mind clear, Google the video. It's out there. That happened while I wasn't here. I'm just saying, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, well, we got an immigration plan, and it's okay for all these people from all these places. They went and got 10,000 Afghanis. Flew them over here.
They brought the measles with them.
Flew them over here. Okay, Afghanis are people. For some reason or other, the Afghanis were okay, but the Haitians are not.
Oh, Eddie.
I know. I'm making this
Eddie.
black and white.
Oh my goodness.
I'm not distinguishing. I'm just telling you.
It's the Chappelle hour, okay?
I'm just telling you that the government that you guys support so much.
Most racist president, yeah.
Can't and you could call Trump and say what you want about Trump, but Trump ain't never did that.
No.
So I'm calling you guys out. If somebody want to call in and explain to me why it's okay to beat black folks from horsebacks in the middle of the river
On Biden's watch.
Some kind of high. If you see how that's okay, call in and let me know. So anyway, all right, that's off my chest.
There you go.
I had been saving that because I couldn't do it last week because of the show last week was a little bit more of how we're gonna help the community. I just had to tell y'all that. So now this week we're gonna deal with some other stuff, and our guest is Tom Gaitens, who is one of my good friends and been one of my good friends for a long time, and he's a friend of the show. And if you've been a long time listener, you've heard Tom on this show, at least 4 or 5 times over the last several years. So anyway, he's gonna tell you what he's got going on. He's gonna tell you how to contact him, how to help, how to do some things and to bring some things to your attention. So without any further ado, here with us live today on Porch Talk Radio is Hillsborough County Executive Committeeman Tom Gaitens.
Guys, it's great to be with you. Thank you. Listen, I'm not only a guest today, but I often call too. So I am not just a friend of the show. I love the show. It is the best show in town.
Thank you.
And it's because you guys talk about the issues that matter to the people who are listening. No other show does it. Every other show in town does it all they care about is what the person who's talking cares about, right? And you guys bring it down to the basic level. But so this week, a couple issues I just wanted to share with your audience. One is, like last time, I'm the executive director for the state of Florida for CALA, which is Citizens Against Lawsuit Abuse. So one of the things I focus on is trying to improve people's lives. There's a tort tax out here, and people don't see it. It's an invisible tax, but every time our court system is clogged up with frivolous lawsuits on things that are non-productive. Listen, torts and civil law are essential. It's one of the things that makes a level playing field for all of us in our lives. But when that's abused, what happens is businesses have to pay more in insurance. They have to pay more in the cost of goods protecting themselves. And so one of the good things we did last session was we got a COVID liability protection bill passed. First thing the governor signed, which helped small businesses, people in your community, the laundromat, the Burger King. It doesn't matter what business it is. If a person came in, they can't come out and say, I got COVID from you, I'm gonna sue you, small business owner. And that person who just invested their life savings in a small business now has a $200,000 settlement and he loses his business. So that can't happen, but that's coming up a threshold. In March, it has to be renewed again. So let's hope the state legislature listens to we the people and reintroduces it. But it doesn't stop there. There's about a $250 tax per person, kid, adult, senior citizen, regular folk. $250 per person that's built into the cost of everything we do in life. In the state of Florida, that amounts to $11 billion of lost revenue, $5.6 billion in lost earnings. And so these things matter to everyone in our listening base here. So on one level, I'm saying, listen, if you have a suit, if you saw something bad in your community, give me a call. It's tgaitens@cala.org, and it's really simple, TGAITENS at cala.org, or you can reach me at as Eddie said, I'm a state committeeman, which is really easy, scm@hillsborough.gop. Now, on that level, the last thing I'd point out on CALA is that there's a big bill coming up. I know we've all listened to it. We've heard the commercials of J.G. Wellington or whatever it is in that song. If you have a structured settlement, get cash now.
Oh, yeah.
So this is one of those ways that the industry steals and abuses people. Let's say someone in your community gets a lawsuit and the settlement is for $10 million, right? And they're like, oh great, I got $10 million. But it's a structured settlement by the court, and it says, we're gonna pay out $500,000 a year for 20 years. Now, that person's like, I may not be around for 20 years, let me get that money up front. Well, a J.G. Wellington comes in and says, hey, listen,
Wentworth, J.G. Wentworth.
Wentworth, yes, Wentworth. And he says, and they say, we'll give you your full settlement, and we'll charge you 25% interest, right? But here's what happens: they don't take in consideration that the lawyer's fees that cut 40% of that 10 million out. So now you're only down to 6 million, and you're taking this loan out. Then what happens is people will spend that money, and then they're having to pay back at 25% interest a year. And what happens at the end of that settlement? You're owing this company everything you have and more, and people go into bankruptcy because of it, and their lives are ruined.
So
not
it's like a
improved.
reverse mortgage.
Exactly.
Oh.
But it's a reverse mortgage in a horrible sense because the person thinks they got a windfall,
Right.
but it's usury. It's the man holding you down, taking advantage of the settlement. You thought you received something good, and we have a big bill, Bill 41, that Representative Toby Oberdorf is pushing into the State House and State Senate this next session. We're hoping it passes to help everyday citizens. That's just one thing. But the real reason I'm here today is to actually just touch base with your audience, because I know your audience, like me, cares about the governance we have. And right now, we're in that redistricting time in Hillsborough County. And this is just, right now we're just doing about the county commissioners. Then it's going to be the state reps and Congress down the road here. But this is important because we've already bypassed the virtual public comment phase. Now we're into the advertising phase. You'll start seeing it in your newspapers and on the radio, what have you. And that will last from October 7th, which was Friday, all the way through November 4th. And then I want your audience to know, November 8th and November 16th are the public hearings where they can come in person and give public testimony at the BOCC Commission. And there are many maps that they put out there as potential maps for consideration. A, B, C, D, and F. A, B, and C were canned, and they just put out for public view D, E, and F. Now, once those were out there, at the last minute, the county staff proposed an additional map, and that was map G. Now, I encourage your folks to just go onto the BOCC website, and they can look at those maps and make a decision for themselves. I have my opinion, which I think is the best map, the most fair. It resembles more of what we have today, and that was actually supported and proposed by Commissioner Gwen Myers. She came up with map F. Now, the other county commissioners, other Democrat county commissioners, don't like map F because it keeps District 3 in a more comparative boundary than it is today. So it protects the district better than any of the other maps. Now, there's pros and cons to all the maps. I'm not going to go through all that with you all today, but I'm going to tell you that Commissioner Myers came up with map F, and it's an excellent choice. It brings a lot of cohesiveness. It keeps most of the districts in a more similar boundary that they had before. I think it's best for the people, our listening audience, and also for the county at large. And I'm gonna wax, down the line here. I'm gonna look further ahead. Eddie does a great job. This show does a great job of reaching this audience and bringing a new thought, conservative thought into this community, saying there's a better way to do things, the way we've done it since 1928, and that is a gentrification of lives where we don't intermingle. And I know the current thing right now is that people are trying to separate us and pit us based on the color of our skin or our race, religion, whatever have you, and we're Americans first. And we should always look at these things through the lens of how do we work together and how can we achieve the same goal instead of competing goals. And the powers that be love to pit us against each other because it empowers them. Think of this COVID pandemic and just think who's won. Well, Bezos won, right? He became richer. Bill Gates became a lot richer. The people who, Facebook, you name the oligarch and they became richer, the average person didn't. And right now they're telling us that they want our children to do X, they want our children to do Y. But here, think about this. A lot of the people in this audience are Black Americans. The lowest demographic of vaccinations are Black Americans.
20%.
But why is that? Because Tuskegee experiments. Let's be real here. The reason is they have history. They know their history, and they're like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me again, no way. And they're like, I'm not going to trust government to do this. Why are they forcing me to do something I may or may not want to do? What the average person in this audience understands is government, as Ronald Reagan said, is not the solution to our problems. We as a community are the solutions to our problems. We working together are the solutions to our problems. I'm not telling you to get vaxxed. I'm not telling you not to get vaxxed. What I'm telling you is use your best judgment, what's best for you, what's best for your family, and government should never be in that equation. It should be you and your doctor, you and your children. Those decisions are personal. They're not governmental, and anytime government's trying to tell you to do something, there's a gain for government. And look at Pfizer's stock portfolio, look at how much money these pharmaceutical companies have made. A lot of people have made a lot of money, and I can tell you it's not the average person. But then the end game is this, and think about this in our major cities, and Tampa, I'm including Tampa for our major cities. The cities that have these mask mandates that say you can't go to the grocery store, you can't go to the school unless you are vaccinated. Think about this. Who is it denying access to these industries and these services? It's denying the people who have chosen to make a personal choice. We used to be a country of liberty.
This is sounding racist already because if only 20% of the black people have actually gotten the vaccination, that means 80% can't go to the store, and because of their choice, they're being punished.
Bingo. And what's denying, so think about this, all these jobs that are in these cities,
Incredible.
And they're being pushed out of these jobs. God bless these people for standing up for their liberty, because that's what it's about. In all reality, in the entire nation, it's less than 600 kids under 19 have died from COVID.
And 300 was in Chicago, and that was not from COVID, that was from shootings.
But the point is, why are they telling us these kids need to be vaccinated? Again, I'm not telling you to get vaccinated, I'm not telling you not. I'm telling you the statistics don't merit, and stand by what you understand to be the truth, because what your truth is based on reality. And that is, the government has never been something we want to trust. We want to watch and we want to protect ourselves. A limited government, this is why, I'm bringing this all full circle to this point. As God is my witness, and the three of us are sitting here, and our good friend is filming this right now, the reality is, in 20 years, this community will be voting Republican, because Republican values are the same values that support a stronger education system for all children, school choice for you. The mother of 3 kids says, you know what, I need a better choice than the school down at the corner, because
The government school?
right, that government school. And this is the term, I know I used it last time, I'm gonna use it here. The money should follow the student and not the brick and mortar. We shouldn't be funding that building because it's a government building. We should be funding that child and giving the best education to every child within our community. That's why this redistricting matters. Because I know down the road, Gwen Myers will be voting like you do and like you do. And the
Me being
I'm sorry.
Gabriel and Eddie.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's correct. I pointed out.
Flip black, it's a hair.
Yeah. But here's the reality. And listen, one of my mentors growing up was Jesse Owens. He was a strong conservative. And the one thing he said is, never trust things you cannot see yourself. And that is, a government that is in Washington, D.C. is not looking out for you here in Tampa Bay. And the reality that we all understand here is the pocketbook matters. And when they want to take from us, when they want to steal from us, like this rail tax, they stole $512 million from us. And the county commission is saying they don't want to give it back to you unless you can prove with receipts the tax. No, what we're saying is that you give us a tax holiday until that $512 million is now absorbed back into our community.
But we're not allowed to question, remember? We can't question the government, we can't question science.
Or the school board, as the Attorney General says, right?
Who's the Attorney General, his son is actually leading the critical race theory, actually, the politicized version of it that's disgusting. So the son to the FBI director is leading it, and the dad, the FBI director, providing him cover.
Correct.
Amazing.
Well, again, part of the scenario that we're currently living in has to do with years and years and years and years and years and years of abuse,
Mm-hmm.
abusive action toward a people.
Mm-hmm. Very much so.
And you know, it's a lot of folks who don't understand. And what I try to do is I try to talk at a 3rd grade level. I try to explain. That's why I say black and white, and I tell folks, you know, we're not trying to be politically correct. You know, I know 2 sexes, male and female,
Bingo.
even though it may be 30 other ones. You know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I don't know them. So I can't. You don't know what you don't know. So rather than offend somebody, you know, I'm good, male or female. But for all intents and purposes, you know, the black folks, and when I go to the barber shop, if you want to know what's happening in the hood,
Mhm.
you know, go to a black barber shop or go to a black beauty parlor, because those are regular, everyday people talking about what's happening in their community and how they feel about it. The basic black person, period, poor, rich, you know, middle class, whatever the deal, they see a government. And when the government takes the time, energy, and the effort to tell us something like COVID, what they never say, and I never see, is COVID has a survival rate
Mm-hmm.
of 96%. Literally 96% of all the people that get COVID survives. Nobody says that. They'll tell you about the 10%, the 4% that actually died and had complications and this and that. Now, what space on Earth is a 96 bad in a grading system? If I'm getting 96, I'm a straight A student.
And Eddie, that number is, let's break that number down. That 96% is enormous. But think about this. if you're under 55, that's 99%. What brings it down to 96% are the people 60 and over, and who, this is a scary fact, of the people who died because of COVID, the average age is 78 years old, which is exactly the average life expectancy of Americans. So there's no, with all these deaths in America, just think about it, it's a simple math equation. With all these deaths in America, if it were extraordinary in terms of the numbers of deaths, it would have lowered our life expectancy, but it hasn't. Here's the number that matters. 2.9%. That means what it means is every person who died of COVID had an average of 2.9% comorbidities. That means they either were obese, they had diabetes like I do, or they had high blood pressure. Maybe they had precardial issues or lung issues.
Genetics.
Genetics. The reality is people were already infirmed in some form or fashion, and this disease, this virus, attacks that and exacerbates the problem and causes problems. But then here's the sickening part. We talked about President Biden. Here's the scary part. People are not able to get treatments before it gets serious in them, like ivermectin or hydroxychloroquine, or these other means by which, if you are treated in the first 5 days with any one of these things, your survivability is off the charts good, meaning you're going to survive. But the government...
But that's bad.
That's bad because the government's denied these things. In fact, for the state of Florida, our governor, DeSantis, opened up these Regeneron facilities all around the state. I think it was 37 of them, which means you could go in and get an infusion. Same one that past President Trump got, a Regeneron, and the survivability was off the charts. But President Biden decided to constrict the supply of that so that Governor DeSantis couldn't keep these things open like he did. What goes to the mindset? When it makes you think of Tuskegee experiments,
Right.
when they deny treatment that would help you.
Syphilis.
Exactly. If they deny treatment that should help you in days 1 through 5, and then on day 7, 8, 9, when you start having respiratory issues, they say, no, you can't go to your doctor. Your doctor's not going to treat you because we're not giving them protocols from which he can treat you. You got to go to the hospital. So when they talk about the hospital statistics, they are making the hospital statistics.
Right.
They're forcing you into that.
I think you guys are making this way too simple. I think y'all are complicating it by your simplicity because of the fact that if this COVID has a 96% overall survival rate, as Eddie said, but yet we're going after that and spending all the money on that, but yet diabetes and high blood pressure and cancer
Heart attacks.
are taking more people out around this nation, only this nation, but we're not going after those people that are overweight, but we're going after the people that don't wear a mask. I don't know.
Gabriel, think if we had a 18-month, we're now pushing almost 2 years on this, right? So think if we had an 18-month campaign, because we knew from the beginning that these comorbidities added to your risk factor, right? What if instead of Fauci being on TV and radio first of all, how does he have time to read any actual reports on COVID when he's on TV and the radio 24/7? But think about this.
He's a big pharma rep, isn't he?
Yeah.
If he had spent 1/8 of that time that he's on public airways advocating that people change their behavior and say, this is an obese problem, we need to reconstruct how we eat in America, and we did a public policy, public airway campaign against obesity, and we spent 18 months doing this. Think about our numbers, where they'd be today.
In general, wow.
But and how much healthier we would be if we change our mindset. Because remember, we're all the same age.
Yeah.
And that food pyramid that we used to have has now flipped, right? We used to have to, science follow the true science, and the true science is this: eat better, live longer.
No, you can't make money on that. You've got to sell pills to keep us maintained. In fact, if we looked at hospitals, doctors, and nurses, and all their training is to help you maintain your sickness, maintain your disease. Whatever happened, just get rid of it.
So
Cure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's a
It's been a long
that's
time
a
since I heard that.
word.
Since I heard that
Well,
word.
so, okay, remember the government said no on ivermectin, no on ivermectin, no on ivermectin. And what does the pharmaceutical company who had ivermectin, they came out with a new version of ivermectin that cost, instead of $1 a pill, like ivermectin did, now they came up with one that costs $200 a pill. And
Wow.
now the government's saying, okay, you can take this one.
We can sell that one. Yeah.
So it's all about, follow the Benjamins, right?
Yeah.
But-
Always.
So back at Callow, the reason we focused on that COVID liability bill at the time we did last year was to protect small businesses, particularly in communities like this, because what these predatory, frivolous lawsuit experts, the Morgans and Morgans, the world's people like this who are all over the airwaves, and they want to bring you in as it's kind of like a assembly line lawsuit. You actually don't go to court. This insurance companies settle because there's so many cases against them. I'm out here to try to help the common man, and this is why I'm on this radio show, because this is the radio show that talks to the common man. This is not the radio show that talks to Mayor Iorio, Mayor Castor, that class and ilk of people. We talk to the people, you talk to the voters here, and that's the people who need the information. So when they go to these Board of County Commission meetings, when they want redistricting,
We need them there.
we need them. We need to show up. Government goes to those who show up.
That's
Yeah,
good, Eddie, push that there.
and something else I need to say, while we're taking this time, because we're gonna have to do the on this date, in a little bit, but folks in this country that are Black Americans, male and female, there has been a strategy. Now, the United States government is the biggest supplier. Matter of fact, in this country, we're the only supplier of the vaccine. I mean, Johnson and Johnson and Pfizer and the other one, all those companies sell not to you, not to me, but to the United States government. So all those billions of dollars being invested in the vaccine,
They got warehouses, Eddie.
goes directly from the U.S. Treasury directly to the pharmaceutical company. Now, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm a young man. Only been here. Next week it'll be 68 years.
Happy birthday.
But and I'm not a collusion.
You're not a conspiracy
swamp
guy.
monster conspiracy
But
kind of person.
bring it on, Eddie.
But if you and see, I'm gonna tell you, I'm common sense. I saw 3 weeks ago, when they did the embarkation from Afghanistan. I saw an airplane that had 600 people on it, soldiers and civilians and everybody else. And stupid ass me, I looked and didn't see one mask. I didn't see no soldiers with masks. I didn't see no civilians with masks. And then I said, well, let me look around the ground. They got thousands of people trying to get on these planes. I didn't see no masks. They know
it's BS,
They
Eddie.
showed close-ups of folks at the gates, trying to get into the airport and stuff. And see, I'm like, okay, we making a big deal about this COVID thing, how many folks is killing, but somehow Afghanistan don't have no COVID.
They got measles, but they don't have COVID.
Evidently.
If the White House cared about masks, if they really believe masks are scientifically proven to stop the spread of COVID, the border would have been shut because they don't come across in masks. The planes would have been shut down because they didn't have enough masks for the people on the planes.
Right.
The thing is, all you have to do is your eyes are your gateway to reality, and that is, if you see something that's BS, it's BS. Don't trust your eyes. Don't trust your ears when you hear Jen Psaki spouting out these lie after lie after lie. And the thing is, that's the scary part. They know if they tell a lie like Goebbels, if they tell a lie is
They cannot be questioned.
and they can't be questioned. They just keep spouting this stuff out. The bottom line is, listen, no one wants this virus, and God, I hope you never get the virus. I hope you never get the virus. But none of this has been accidental. The way they have performed on the government edicts, on mandates down, the states that were shut down aren't better than Florida. Thank God we have, and think about this.
Common sense.
Common sense. Let me go back to the beginning here. Think about this. 32,000 votes separated our governor from his opponent back in the last election. 32,000 votes. School choice. People in your community here, people in this community who've said, I would rather my child go to a school that I choose than the government tells me to send into a government school that stinks. And the reality is 33,000 black mothers cared more about their children than they did the party identification on their ID, and they voted for Governor DeSantis because they knew he would help bring school choice to all of us in Florida. And this is the reality. How we take care of our kids in education is how they will be the rest of their lives. And if we subject them to a bad school that's underfunded, has poor air conditioning, bad environment, horrible discipline, then we are going to get kids that are uneducated and have no direction, because we've corralled them like into this junk.
Yeah.
The bottom line is freedom and liberty is what everyone should strive for, and God bless you both for every week that you spout liberty-loving ideas to this community.
And let me do this before we do our on this day. Folks, 2 years ago, when this thing was up and hot and running and supposed to have been the muckety muck of the muck, it only attacked old folks. For some reason or other, children, the children seem to have an immunity to it. It's not affecting children, this and this and this, and I'm just remember, I'm not saying anything. You can go turn the timetable back and you can, listen to it and hear, okay, then there came a time, all of a sudden, the virus mutated. Now it's attacking kids. I know we got to call it.
And no evidence.
I'm finish this thought. It's now it's kids. Now we gotta immunize and get the vaccine to all the kids. And now they're talking about, we're trying to get it all the way down to the babies. So they went from killing old folks, now it's attacking, 20 to 50-year-olds. Now it's attacking, for some reason though, they went from school-age kids not being affected to being primarily the ones affected. So I'm just telling you, listen and look and see what's happening, because it went from old folks all the way down to babies. Same bacteria, the smartest bacteria virus ever known to man, because this learning, what age, demographic by age demographics, and it's gonna get everybody. It's gonna get you. So anyway, let me take this caller, and then we're gonna do on this day. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello.
Hello. This
Yes.
is Gino. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Now, when you talk about masks, when I look at the pictures from 1920, I just want to know, did the mask work in 1920 and 21? I saw the pictures, and people was wearing masks for that virus. I'm not sure if it's the same kind of virus, but I think you contract things roughly the same way. And how many black people who mothers voted for DeSantis? You said 32,000 in Florida?
33,000.
Yes.
33,000. How many black people in Florida?
It's a couple million, several million.
Oh, that's a small percentage. That's just like you voting for me and everybody in this county voting for somebody else. That doesn't make no sense.
Let me tell you something. An election, I don't know if you guys remember Rose Felita back in the day. Rose Felita was a county commissioner. She won by 100 votes. She was a county commissioner. And what I'm trying to tell you is the number by which you win an election is not important. It's not significant. It could be 1%. I'm telling you, if for some local elections have been won by 1%, and they have recounted, and if the number is 1%, one vote is 1% of one vote.
Well, I was comparing because you said 32,000.
Yeah.
And how many white people voted for Gilliam?
Oh no! I understand your point.
Okay.
No. I understand your point. What I'm saying is, if the difference is, what I'm referring to is crossover votes, people who voted for a specific issue, and the exit polling is what I'm referring to. So the exit polling told us that 33,000 mothers, black mothers, voted because the issue that mattered to them was school choice. It was really trying to equate those two things. I'm not comparing all demographics. What I'm saying is 33,000 mothers, because of school choice and DeSantis, was a consequential difference in the outcome of that election.
Boom.
Yeah, that made a difference.
Okay. I would think that when it came to, really, I want to see how many vote for him this time if he runs again.
Oh, he's running.
But,
he's running.
Well, if he runs again, Trump ran again too. But I'm just saying, I want to see how many run, how many people vote for him this time, how many black mothers vote on that school choice for him again. That's all I say. Well, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Thank you for being a part of our show.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another one. Okay, we're gonna do one more call. We got stuff we gotta do, and they waited till the end of the show to call. So, Okay, caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this fine Saturday afternoon.
Fine.
Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what say you? Hello. Hello.
I think it's so excited.
Turn off your radio.
Yeah, turn off your radio. Can't hear you. All right. On this day, we get,
They feel so excited.
exciting part of the show. On this day, October the 9th, in 1701, the College School of Connecticut was chartered in New Haven. The name was later changed to Yale. Yale University has been around for 400 years. Think about that. On this day, October the 9th, 1855, Isaac Singer patented the sewing machine motor. So Singer has been around for, 150 years?
Yep.
On this day, October the 9th, 1872, Aaron Montgomery started his mail order business with the delivery of the first mail order catalog. The firm later changed its name to Montgomery Wards. So in 1872,
Wow.
they had mail order and mail order catalogs.
The first Bezos.
Who known it would take off?
Yeah, back in the day. Gabriel.
All right, we got a lot of great stuff going on. Now, obviously, if you want to save money for Christmas, now's the perfect time to tell the kids that Santa didn't make it through the pandemic, and we just call this modern issues, modern solutions. I saw that recently with Chappelle's picture in the background on that. Don't forget, drink 1 gallon of water a day. Helps avoid other people's drama because you're too busy peeing. Moving along here, folks. Yes, we got serious stuff in here. Don't worry about it. Hang on. Hang tight. Let's see here. You don't measure the truth of something by the number of people that believe it. You measure the truth of something by whether or not the Word of God says it's true. Wow. There you go. There's some way to do this. I challenge you. Over a week's time, compare your screen time on your phone to your prayer time. Watch the COVID magically disappear. Nose-only COVID mask for eating and drinking. Sweet baby Jesus, make it stop. As we continue with the madness, truth bomb, Pfizer scientists candidly admit naturally acquired immunity to COVID equal or better than the vaccine. And of course, I mentioned this earlier, Chicago versus COVID so far in 2021. 302 number of children shot in Chicago, 214, 17 and younger, that actually have died from COVID nationally. Wow, the Democrat plans are failing big time there. This week, the Biden administration announced that it will award $33 million in grants to the initiative through a Department of Justice offshoot called Office of Community-Oriented Policing Services. COPS is a short name for it. Created by former President Bill Clinton. You know it's got to be good, right? It's for creative approaches. The Communist Party, the COVID Community Corps has been created also recently. It is a tax-funded propaganda arm of the government. That's right, your tax dollars are doing the COVID Community Corps, which puts together a lot of businesses and other groups to try and promote COVID awareness with tax dollars. Also, oh, look at this. Black college funding. Hope suddenly dim amongst federal budget battle. They got money for all this other stuff except for black people's stuff. Oh, imagine those Democrats. New York issues.
The horror of it all.
Man, they lied again. Speaking of lying, the New York Times issues a major correction over claiming 900,000 kids have been hospitalized with COVID. It was just a few hundred. They kind of missed a few zeros on that, but they lied. Black woman charged. Now, this is where you can say, when you watch a TV and you hear this, you go, oh no, please don't let it be a Hispanic or a black person. Black woman charged for posing as white KKK member and threatening to kill black children. Woo! Oh, If you want to save money, we talked about that one here, you're being told to get vaccinated to prevent the hospital system from being overwhelmed by the very same people firing hundreds of thousands of healthcare workers and creating a hospital staffing shortage. Are you figuring it out yet, folks? Meanwhile, good news for common sense. A circuit court judge in Arkansas has ruled that Bentonville schools have no authority to mandate masks and children must be unmasked immediately. It can now be only a suggestion. Smells like victory to me.
Right, there you go. And I'm going to bring up one last topic before we end the show today. And it's something I want you guys to think of. If you have had fears that Joe Biden was on China's payroll.
Ooh, Eddie, come on, Eddie, come on.
I'm going to tell you because he did something this week.
Oh, my goodness.
That a lot of you guys don't know.
Uh-oh.
They sent the United States government, military, sent several plane loads of American trained soldiers to Taiwan. Yeah, that's right. Taiwan, the country that China is in the process of trying to take back or bring back, under the wing of the Chinese government and all that kind of other stuff. And so I'm quite sure the Chinese government know that Joe Biden sent some planes with some folks in it. And that's but for some reason or another, none of the news sources that I normally see and hear people quoting, nobody's saying nothing about it. So I'm trying to say, I don't get it. I don't know what the game is. Because China is not going to accept. I'm going to tell you something I told you weeks ago. And I'm going to say it. And I know a lot of you, a lot of you hate me anyway. So I'm not trying to make you love me and dear you to me.
You're one fuzzy guy.
Joe Biden is a weak president. And all the world leaders know that. And you treat a weak president differently than you do somebody who sticks their chest out and say, I'm a man. I'm just saying. And all the people around Joe Biden, he don't say anything unless somebody's told him what to say.
In his earpiece.
And how to say it. So I'm just telling you, that's what we're dealing with. So when somebody do something that's out of character, I'm just saying, it's not character for a weak president to send soldiers into an area unless there's somebody or something behind the scene. We don't have the whole picture.
There's corruption, Eddie. I'm almost 99.999% sure there's corruption that's pushing some of this somewhere because we know all the corruption of China paying in the Biden crime family, even the Republicans over there, Eddie. They're all on the payroll, it seems, because they're giving China whatever they want. They've gone back to the prior tariffs that they didn't have on China. So China keep bringing their crap over here from Wish for like 50 cents, and we're supposed to just roll over.
Well, back to the virus.
A gift that keeps giving.
Unless it has something to do with Donald Trump, I have not heard in the media the Wuhan virus since Donald Trump last said it. Somehow, everybody considered the virus started in China, started in Wuhan, and all that stuff. But all that stuff has been, including 60 Minutes, have been backfed, redrawn, retracted, to somehow it's something other than the Wuhan. It's not about Wuhan. It's about something else. And everybody on the planet, in all the countries on the planet, don't have it.
And
check that out for yourself sometime.
And the NIH director just stepped down from his position here in America because the fact that Fauci funded the Wuhan virus to create it. Now that the word is out that he paid for that with tax dollars, Fauci did. The guy that runs the NIH testing firm that they use has had to step down because now he don't want to lose or get shot. Ooh.
Well, what we're not doing is we're not spreading conspiracy theory.
No, this is fact.
Theory, you know, and the stuff we tell you and the stuff we're saying
research it.
Is stuff that's out there, and as a source for some of this information locally and nationally, you're not gonna get it anywhere else. And I tell you that all the time. And there's a reason you're not gonna get it anywhere else, because you know it's a lot of money.
Oh.
Follow the dollars.
Big pharma.
Follow the vaccine dollars. Look at how many U.S. congressmen and U.S. senators have invested.
Have stock in it? Ooh.
Governors, you know, how many politicos have made money and are making money off of this conspiracy.
Big time.
That's all I'm saying.
Amen.
And it's and I'm telling you, black folks, you do well to keep doing what you've been doing. I'm just saying.
Keep praying.
I ain't telling you to get it or not get it. I'm just saying, go with your gut.
Ooh.
And with that being said, on this fine Saturday afternoon, we're going to bring this show to a conclusion. Tampa Bay, we love you. Same bat time, same bat station next week.
God bless America.
Bye-bye.